Welcome back to Relationshit. It's your host, Kamie Crawford, and I am here with the baddest bitch on YouTube and beyond.
Stop.
Entrepreneur and content creator, Desi Perkins.
Hey.
Welcome.
Just made me sound so good.
No, first of all, the amount of things that you have accomplished and that you have done over the past, how long have you been a
Girl,
content
over a
creator?
decade.
Over
Yeah.
a decade, and you have a sunglasses line called Desi.
Yes.
Iconic. They're so cute. I have
you.
like 2 pairs myself.
Thank you.
That I bought, by the way.
Oh,
When
she's
they came
supportive.
out. Oh, when they came out, I was like, quick,
I love that.
quick
I
fire.
love that.
Before they sold out, obviously. And then Desi Skin,
Yes.
which is gorgeous.
Thank you.
What made you want to start those lines?
Well, I started off in makeup, and obviously I fell into a collaboration with a sunglass company, and I started designing frames, and I've always actually really been into designing mostly clothing. I actually went to college and took courses, and I thought, one day I'm going to be this fashion designer. And then I fell into makeup, which took me down a different path, but then
Right.
I kind of found myself designing again for this eyewear brand, and it did so well. It just kind of took off, and I realized that I wanted this to be forever
Yeah.
and not just a flash in the pan collaboration. I wanted it to be something I did for the rest of my life. So I went and started my own company, and here I am.
And they're fly.
Thank you.
They're so fly. And honestly, even just like the social media like drops, when they drop, I'm like, oh shit. Let me get on my phone.
There's like a thrill with
Yes.
every drop. It's exciting and also so much anxiety. I mean, I even feel it every time I drop something.
And then why skincare versus makeup? Because I feel like people would just assume that you would start a makeup line.
They would assume that, and I think a lot of people did at first assume, but to be quite honest, I think I've always been a more glowy skin. Despite doing makeup, I still love the natural feel. I love how I feel without makeup, and I've always been really into skincare. And to be quite honest, I also thought the makeup industry was super saturated, and even though I loved it, I just didn't want to throw myself and unless I innovated, I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be in a space where I can try to bring new things to the table, and I just felt like with makeup, maybe that wasn't the vibe at the time. So
Yeah. And also all the beauty girls know that good makeup starts with the skin.
yeah, you got to take care of the skin. I mean, I had really bad skin for a minute, and I would hide it so much. And then I did this video where I showed how to cover my acne, but make it look still like your skin. And that video took off, and it was one of my more vulnerable moments. And I think that taught me that there are so many people that relate to skin and have skin issues. So I really wanted to target that head on.
Yeah. Well, speaking of vulnerable moments, if you
Oh.
read the title of the episode,
Yep.
the title is all about fertility today. That's
Yeah.
what we're talking about, because you, the badass that you are and the brave woman that you are, went on your YouTube channel where you normally talk about, beauty, fashion, things that, the girls love. But something that was very, very personal to you was your fertility journey. And we know now that you have Ocean, who is the cutest child. I feel like I know him because of how much you post about him.
He's such a little ham. I love that
He's
kid.
so cute. The fact that he brings you like your morning coffee with the flower every morning with Steven, who's also here, by the way.
Yep.
We have to shout out to Steven.
Yeah, shout out to Steven for teaching him how to be a good little gentleman.
Like, I'm ready to pop a baby out so that
Right.
I can hook her up with Ocean. Hopefully
This is why you have to find a good partner, because
Exactly.
that partner your child will be a huge reflection of your partner one day.
Yeah. Well, I just love, because I know, influencers, content creators, like, we talk about a lot of stuff on the internet, but it's very rare that we see someone talk about something that's so deep and at times dark that's going on in their lives. What made you want to share all of that on that series that you posted?
I think I was really struggling, and I just couldn't hide it anymore. I just felt that, I couldn't be my authentic self because such a huge part of me was going through this really, honestly, depressing time in my life where I was trying to conceive for 7 years. And it was just, I was putting my body through all these medications, and some that made me feel very depressed, but then I was trying to be online and just be the person I was before I started this journey and try to keep people happy and positive. And then one day I just felt like I was falling apart and I couldn't do it anymore. And I just decided to talk about what was going on in my life, despite it being taboo and people telling, keeping hush hush about it.
Yeah.
It was crazy because the moment I started talking about it, even people in my circle and my family came forward and told me that they were also struggling with this, which is crazy that we live our lives every day with each other. We think we know each other, but then there's this thing that we're just not talking about. And to be honest, the minute I did that, I felt so much relief. Like I just felt like I could breathe, and all of these women started coming forward and talking to me about this same situation that they were going through, some stories even worse than mine. And I just built this huge community of support. And in my effort to try and find, I can't even explain it, but like in my effort to make myself feel better, people came forward and said that I made them feel better. So it's just the support that you have when you start to speak up about vulnerable moments and know that everyone's kind of going through something similar, if not even worse. And it's just, you have all this sympathy, and it changed everything for me when I started talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even for me, I've never been pregnant and I don't have any kids. So obviously I don't have kids. If I'm never pregnant. Well, I mean, not obviously.
In case anyone was wondering.
Not obvious. Yeah, exactly. Not pregnant now. Hopefully we'll be pregnant in the future. But even for me watching it, it resonated with me because I feel like I have so many friends, and even myself, like as a woman, you don't know that you can get pregnant until you get pregnant. And
Right.
you don't know that you can give birth to a healthy baby until you've given birth to a healthy baby. And even after you do that, there's no guarantee that the next time you'll have the same amount of success or whatever you may call it. So I just feel, even when you posted that, I remember talking to some of my friends about it, being like, why is this something that we don't talk about when it's something that's so common? Like, why is miscarriage or fertility difficulty, like why is that something that we don't talk about openly with each other?
I have no idea. I feel like as women, we're, society always wants us to be strong. And if we talk about weaknesses, like we can come off as complaining, or I don't know, but I feel like we do suppress a lot of the things that we struggle with. And I mean, there's a lot of different things that, we have to go through, and we just suck it up. And I just think that, I don't know, I think people could be embarrassed too, because I think at one point I even felt a little ashamed, like my body was failing me, that it wasn't doing the one thing that, everyone tells you you're supposed to do. It's what I really wanted. And so I did feel a little bit of shame every single time I had a pregnancy test and it said no. It's just to the point where I would stop telling Steven I was taking the test because I just felt like I don't want to let him down again. It was really tough. So I think we start to keep it to ourselves, even from the people we love the most. And that's why I started making videos, not thinking anyone would see them, but I needed an outlet to kind of just cry and talk about what I was going through. And I was using my phone as a little bit of a diary for myself because I wasn't talking to people close to me. And like I said, at one point I just kind of stopped talking to my husband about it too. And somehow it made it on the internet years later.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
And I remember thinking like, damn, all those times I had a scare, I thought I was having scares, and I'm over here, I can't even get pregnant. Like,
You're like, I want to have a scare
I
now.
was like, what?
Scare me.
Like all this time I thought it was just like, so easy. And it was actually the first time that Steven and I decided to try. I did get pregnant, but then I miscarried. And it was such a hard time because me and my best friend got pregnant at the same time. And we were both so excited thinking that we're going to be pregnant together. I feel like that's such a dream that a lot of people have. They're like, oh yeah. And when I had a miscarriage, it was just like the hardest thing I ever had to deal with. And it was a really bad miscarriage. They had told me I had a mass and that I had to have surgery because it could be cancerous. And it just felt like everything was tumbling down. And so my friend who was pregnant at the time, I remember she came and laid in bed with me every single day, didn't say a word after that happened. And it was just the best. Like, she just came over and she would make me food and she would just lay with me and we would just lay there and do nothing. But for all the years that I tried after, I always looked at her daughter and thought, I would have a child your age. And it just was a marker of the amount of years that I've been trying to have a baby. So it was a little tough.
Yeah. That's the other thing too, because I've talked to some friends who have had difficulties or still are having difficulties, and they want to get pregnant, and all of their friends or our friends have kids or, you know, are getting pregnant. It feels like they're getting pregnant just like that. Like at the blink of an eye, like, oh, there goes another one. And it's hard. Like, how do you, or what would be your advice to women who are trying to get pregnant, having difficulty being around people who are not having that same issue?
I think I don't know if I would say I didn't feel jealousy. I maybe felt like, why is this not happening for me? And that's, I guess, where I felt a little bit like my body was letting me down. I never felt any negative feelings towards my friends. I was happy that they were having babies, and because I could be a part of their lives, and it was great. But I guess in life, I just kept telling myself, what will be, and whatever's meant for me is meant for me. And I think that if I would have had that baby when, you know, 7 or however many years ago that I did get pregnant, my life might be completely different now. And I don't know if I would be in this position I am in now and the career that I have, which I would have never been able to even dream up in my wildest dreams. I had no idea I would end up here. But it was the first miscarriage that actually put me into a really bad depression. And I got myself out of that through doing my makeup every day. And I gave myself this goal. I said, you know what? I need to get out of bed. I'm going to do a creative look just to make myself feel better every day. And I'm going to post it on this Instagram app because that's what was, you know, it was hot.
Yeah,
it was
like new thing.
The close-up eye shots. And I would only do like one eye and then just take a close-up picture of that one eye. Steven would come home and I'd have one eye one way and the other eye another way. And I was like, I'm doing 2 pictures. So I did that every day. I challenged myself and I said, you know what? I'm going to work my way out of this feeling. And then all of a sudden my Instagram started blowing up and I started getting reposted by all these other huge like there wasn't very many huge creators, but I got reposted. I started getting a ton of following and they were loving my work. I started getting all these jobs and then they were like, you should do a YouTube channel. And I was like, YouTube? I don't know how to do this thing, but I'll figure it out. So I started YouTube and it's just one thing led to another, which led to another. So I look back now and I think that wasn't my time, and everyone has their own journey, and your friend's journey is your friend's journey, and yours will be whatever it is, like you will find it. And that's just the best advice I can give, because now looking back, I can see how, you know, everything worked out the way it should.
Yeah. I also think about, because I remember seeing you, I don't know if it was in the fertility series or if it was just online, talking about the comments that people leave about, I see it all the time. Like, even if I post something, like say I'm wearing a swimsuit and say I really have to pee, so my bladder's a little full. Right. God forbid. God forbid.
You have any, like, pooch of any sort.
The comments are like, oh, you're pregnant. I knew it. Oh, my God. Like, how did you deal with that? They're the worst comments.
I don't know why people comment on anyone's body, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's so insane that we are still commenting on women's bodies, because to be honest, we can never win. It's like, you're too thin, you're not curvy enough. Oh, now it's like,
yeah.
And then they wonder why we're all so messed up and, you know, editing photos and doing work to ourselves. And it's just this cycle, like this, it's terrible, but it was really hurtful for me. And the worst one was, give that man a baby already. Like,
shut up.
Yeah.
Somebody said that?
Oh, all the time. Give that man a baby already. Like that made me feel even worse about myself.
Ooh, I want to fight.
It's that
no.
And even after I've posted that, it's funny because people still talk to me about pregnancy now. Like, well, what are you doing, baby number 2? Like, are you pregnant? And it's funny because even though I put everything out there and let people know, you know, don't comment on someone being pregnant.
Yeah.
Because if they're not, you're basically just saying in your eyes they look a little chubby.
Yeah.
Which, if a woman is pregnant, she's not going to respond to you in a comment if she hasn't announced it yet and be like, you know what? Yes, I am. That's how I want to announce my pregnancy to the world. To your comment.
Your random ass.
Do you really think that somebody is going to respond to you in that way?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, still to this day, I do get comments about pregnancy and now baby number 2 and all this stuff. And
it's annoying.
It is annoying.
It's annoying because I feel like for someone who you have done so much in sharing things that other people would never share. You share your daily life every single day, but people feel like you owe it to them.
Yeah.
To give them that answer.
Right.
About whatever it may be. And like, I've talked about this, I think, before on the podcast about how, you know, when you don't know what somebody's going through, you may be asking a question just feeling like, you know, not maliciously, but you're just like, oh, are you guys like, when are you guys gonna, or you guys will have such cute babies or whatever, but you don't know what people are actually going through. So it really just makes more sense to just shut your fucking mouth.
Right. Like think it, tell your friends.
Yeah.
Tell your friends.
Yeah.
Talk to them about it. Like, yeah, I know a lot of times people are excited and they want to be happy for you and they want that for you. And, you know, there's some people that their heart doesn't come, it's not coming from a bad place. It's just etiquette.
Yeah.
It's etiquette at this point.
Yes.
Like, just don't talk about it, you know?
Yeah. And also amongst women too.
Right.
Like,
I feel like sometimes
know.
women can like be the worst towards each other. And that's the shitty part about it.
Yeah.
Like, I remember getting those comments and there were times where it would just break me. Like I was just on my last, you know, on my last leg, and those comments, you know, or even recently after having Ocean, 6 months after having Ocean, I experienced another miscarriage, and it was totally accident. I didn't know that I could even get pregnant at this point because I obviously I had to have IVF to have my son.
Right.
So 6 months, I got pregnant again, and I freaked out because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And at first I was scared, and then I got used to the idea and I got excited. And then I had another miscarriage, and it was so awful. It never gets easier. It's always shitty. And, you know, still to get the comments of like, when's the next baby coming? And it's annoying. You know?
I'm sorry to hear that happened.
Yeah, it's insane how many women go through several miscarriages, several rounds of IVF. It's such a battle every single day, and I don't think people realize how hard it is, to the point where at some women just have to give up because you're putting your body through all of these drugs and pumping yourself with hormones and you can't be yourself. I remember thinking like, if this doesn't work, I don't know if I can keep doing this. Like, I'm exhausted. I want to live my life and feel like myself again, you know? So when people leave those comments, when you're already feeling that way, it's just kind of...
Yeah. Shitty.
It's shit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Did you ever feel a point, because you documented your pregnancy with Ocean, but did you ever feel a point where you were like, I don't want to get my hopes up. Let me not get too excited about being pregnant?
The whole time, at least up until I think 20 weeks is when I felt like I could breathe again. But it's really scary because you constantly think something's going to go wrong. And I think a lot of women, whether they've experienced that or not, feel that sense of, you know, it's scary. So I tried really, really hard, and I try to give this advice to women now that get pregnant after having a miscarriage, to live in the moment and just be happy for your, you know, what's in front of you, because you can't predict the future. You don't know what's going to happen, and you're wasting these precious moments. You should be excited.
Right.
And if something bad happens, well, at least you're living in your moment. Always live in your moment and just be happy and be excited and do all those things, because you worrying about it every day is not going to change the outcome. Right.
Yeah.
And as much as I wanted to believe that, oh, well, it'll make it easier for me if I do miscarry because I'm telling myself this, like in the back of your mind, you're really not, though. You're planning everything. You're thinking about your nursery. You're doing all that stuff. So it's like, just try to enjoy the moment and the exciting news, and, you know. Yeah.
Because you deserve to have that moment.
Yeah, you do.
I was telling a friend this recently who's pregnant. Because same thing. She was just like, I don't want to get too excited. Like, I guess, you know, we'll see, blah, blah. I'm like, stop talking to yourself like that.
Yeah.
Because even though, like, I hate to even fucking be like, oh, manifest the good. Because, like, manifesting is going to get you pregnant or, you know, have a long-term pregnancy that's healthy. No, not necessarily. But like there is something, I think, to just your mental health during a time like that when so much is happening inside of your body, of just believing that everything is going to work out. And it's going to work out for you. But if every single day you're like, oh, this may not happen, it's like then you spent your entire pregnancy thinking that it wasn't going to happen. And then the baby's here now and you're like, oh, didn't think you were going to happen, but glad you're here.
Yeah, I think it's a form of protection. It's like, you know, it's just you're trying to protect yourself by saying that. It's almost like when you go on camera and you're like, oh, excuse my hair. I know, you know, like you protect yourself because you know that what somebody might say. So you just put that wall up so that everyone doesn't have expectations. But you have to think your energy is important. So that's what it is. It's like, you're not going to manifest. Your body's going to do what it's going to do. And your energy every day is super important. And, you know, to anyone that goes through a miscarriage now, I remember when I go through them, I felt, especially the first one, I felt my body failed me. And I thought to myself, why did this happen to me? But in reality, now I look at it as, you know what, my body didn't fail me. It's doing what it's supposed to do, and it wasn't a healthy pregnancy. And for some reason, it knew that, and my body, you know, did what it needed to do. So I think changing my perspective in that way of just knowing it, something wasn't right, makes me feel better than feeling my body failed me. Yeah.
Oh, I love that, because that makes so much sense. And I think that a lot of us don't think of it in that way, because the whole entire pregnancy just becomes about us. That like, you are the woman, you're the one carrying the baby. You should know how to do this. And once the baby comes, you should know how to take care of it. It should just be innate in you. Like, where's your maternal instinct? It should kick in immediately. What do you mean postpartum? Like, there's so many, it's so crazy the way that we think about these things when it's like, actually, you're developing an entire human being inside of your body that's going to grow up and like go to college and like get married and have their own kids one day. This is a whole person. Everything changes. Everything within your body, everything within your mind, everything changes.
Yeah.
You're not going to be the same person after you give birth to a child.
No, and I think that's important to go into knowing that it's not a bad thing. It's just you change, your perspective changes on life. It's crazy. Yeah. And I think when you have your first kid, that's the shock.
Yeah.
It's like the shock to your system, to your life, to everything. So yeah, you change, and you're also super hormonal, and your levels drop like a roller coaster. Just
I mean, I think about how I am on my period. I can't even imagine pushing a baby out, and now I got to take care of you and me.
Right?
What?
And you're swollen, and you're just
yes.
Oh, it's a whole postpartum is a whole other thing. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But I feel like the journey from trying to have a baby to then after and the postpartum was just like, give me a break.
Yeah.
When am I going to get a break?
Well, I love when you talk about your newfound baby hairs.
Oh, God. Don't even get me started. Like, do we really need to lose our hair, too, on top of everything?
And teeth. I have a friend who lost teeth.
Yeah. My teeth started, like, chipping and getting super weak in the front after having Ocean. And my hair was falling out. And girl.
Yeah, y'all look beautiful during pregnancy, but I'm not going to lie. Some of the stuff y'all be sharing, I'm like, I don't know.
Right. It's like you have to, though. You can't just show all the beautiful stuff. Because then people are going to go into it thinking that it's all rainbows and butterflies. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's stitches and hair loss and sore, cracked nipples. Oh. Yeah.
Not the nipples.
Girl.
Bleeding nipples,
then you smell.
What smells? What smells?
You have like really bad BO after giving birth, and it's there for a while, and it's the reason I had no idea. Okay,
nobody told me this.
No. So your body gives off more BO so that your baby can find you easily.
I can pick it up. I don't need it to
find
me. It can't even walk.
Well, that's what happens. Like, so the baby knows where the nipple is. Like, it's just I had no idea, but I was like, what? One day. What is that? Is that me?
It's me.
Oh my God. It goes away, but like.
How long does this last?
I was shook. I don't know. I feel like I only was able to breastfeed for a few months. So I remember it just lasting till then, because once I stopped, I think that went away. But like, I was a stinky bitch for like a few months.
I don't like that, Desi.
I know.
That's not.
There's a lot that
No.
I learned after, but yeah.
You're
We
supposed to be
really are
glowing
strong individuals.
Why can't the body let off like a floral scent that the child recognizes?
Right. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, we have some questions from some people who wrote in
All right.
that want your advice, of course. And I
Okay.
feel like there's no better person to give it to them than you because you've been through all of it, the good and the bad. So here goes the first one. Hi, Kamie. I'm currently 28 years old and I have PCOS and I'm starting to think about my fertility. At what age do you consider egg freezing?
Well, when I went in, my doctor was still telling me I was young, and that was like early 30s. So he had mentioned to me, like, look, I'm getting women pregnant at 41. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the younger you are, the better to freeze your eggs. But I would say early 30s, I would feel, especially if you're not wanting to feel the pressures and you just want to live your life.
Yeah.
And you can, if you have the privilege to be able to do that, because it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
It's very expensive.
It's not cheap, which is another topic.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But if that's something you're looking into, I would probably say early 30s, 32.
Yeah.
33, you're still good, So
Yeah.
don't stress it too much. 28 is still young.
Yeah.
And people make it seem like that's not, and they start pressuring you at that age, but you're fine.
Yeah. I think most of my friends who are egg freezing are in their early 30s, like under 35.
Yeah. Because I think after 35, they say, it starts to drop every single year, your egg count. So, in that first pocket would probably be a good time.
Yeah. Because I remember which birthday was it that I had? I think it was my 28th birthday. I immediately made an appointment at the OBGYN because I was like, I need to know my egg count.
Right.
And then
Why do people freak us out at 28?
I don't know. Because I was like, okay, I got 2 years left or that's it. And then I go to the OBGYN and she was like, girl,
Right.
You're fine.
They really make you realize how old society makes your 20s feel, especially your late 20s. Like, oh my God, isn't she almost 30? No, that's still very young.
Yes.
So don't let the pressures get to you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because it'll freak you out. It freaked me out. And I was just like, I need to freeze my eggs. What am I doing? I don't know when I'm going to want to have kids.
Yeah.
And at the time I was in a relationship. Now I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just when it happens.
We just waste too much time panicking about time and our
Way
clock.
too much. Way too much.
Damn clock.
It's exhausting. Fuck that clock.
Fuck that clock.
Okay. Here goes another one. I saw your post about fertility journeys and I'm glad you're covering this topic. I've been trying to conceive for 4 years. It's a tough journey and a very lonely one. My husband and I have made the decision to go forward with IVF this summer. We're both scared but hopeful at the same time that this will bring us the family we so desire. It's not really a question, but 4 years, that is a long time. And I'm sure that it was scary to finally decide to start IVF. What made you make that decision?
Well, I put myself, I went to go see a fertility specialist, and we kind of mapped out a plan of what's the least invasive thing I can do first to my body and the cheapest, and go up from there. So that whole timeline, I just was on drugs. They were giving me drugs. I take this, take that. And then I moved to, after I did the first thing, that didn't work. So then I did 3 IUIs, which is basically like a turkey basting.
Oh,
They just put it where it needs to go. And all 3 failed. And that was just, so everything was a round of 3. So I did 3 months, then 3 months, and then when that failed, the drugs that I was on at that moment were actually making me really depressed. So I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then we decided to do IVF because that was the last option. So I kind of just set out a plan and went that way.
Yeah.
And then I didn't think I would have to get to IVF. I thought, okay, well, look at all these options before that.
Yeah.
But then I did, and I had to do it.
Yeah.
But now I feel a sense of relief that I don't have to do that again because I did the process.
Right.
We have our embryos. They're all in a little freezer now.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of great knowing that, I don't ever want to try to get pregnant naturally again because the trauma for me of having a miscarriage and I don't want to go through it, especially the last time I said, I have my embryos. I went through all that to get them.
Right.
Sometimes it sucks because I would love that beautiful picture of surprising Steven and being like, we're pregnant. And I know I won't have that because everything is so clinical and planned and scheduled, and you just, but that's okay. You give and take. And once your baby's here, you don't even care how they got here. You're just so happy.
Yeah.
Like Steven and I are obsessed.
I'm obsessed. He's not my kid.
That kid gets so much love because he's the first grandson too. So he is so loved.
Oh, he's so freaking cute. I'm sorry. Every time his little dimple is so cute. His little hair. Oh, God.
His curls.
Oh my God.
He stole my curls too, by the way. I had curly hair before I gave birth to him, and now it's not curly at all. He snatched them. He has them on his head.
Honestly, you're doing just fine. You look great. We want him for Ocean.
Yeah,
everything for Ocean.
He could have everything. He could have the best. Like, he could take it all.
Yeah. That's such a beautiful story, though. I obviously love that it ended up, turning out so well for you guys. It doesn't happen for everybody, though. And like, was there ever a moment where you considered other options, like adoption or anything like that?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think we talked about adopting and that being an option, and I think regardless, we would have had a family.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't even mind adopting. I mean, now that I realize how hard motherhood is.
Yeah.
I don't know how many kids I actually want now.
Yeah. Yes.
I love them, but like,
yeah, I
think I'm good at two, but no, we definitely were. I've always thought about adopting too. So
yeah.
Because once I always envisioned that if I adopted, that once we had our baby, like that baby's ours, and you just don't care, you know, how they got there.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. I also loved the fact that, throughout this journey, you and Steven created this beautiful garden. Oh, yeah. While trying to conceive and kind of almost like a distraction, would you say?
Gardening is super therapeutic. Anytime I had, well, let me start it this way. Our garden was super symbolic of my journey, because anytime something really bad happened, like I got another failed pregnancy test, another IUI failed, Steven and my dad were really huge at, let's go to the garden center and pick up a bunch of roses and like plant, all these flowers. My dad would come over and help, and it was really beautiful because they knew that would make me feel better. And so as, my journey progressed, the garden got beautiful, and it was for me something I could control, and life, like I could see something grow and know that it was going to grow, and it just made me feel like I had a little bit of control. Yeah. And so that really, like, that garden is super special to me. And I always tell Steven, if we ever moved, like, that's what I would miss, is like, just that journey of the garden there. And now we're obsessed, and now Ocean Garden's with us.
Oh, he's so cute. I love him. I guess, what would be your biggest piece of advice for anyone who's going through fertility difficulties right now, on their journey, on their path, like best distractions, or what's your best piece of advice?
Find something for yourself that you can control. For me, that was the garden. I think that saved me a lot of times. Something where when you're doing it, it takes you out of life and into a more creative space. When you have a clear headspace, you're not thinking about anything else. That is something that I think you should do. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's just, so many women actually are going through it. You have no idea. Don't be ashamed. And talk to people about it if you feel comfortable. I just think it sets you free and makes you feel less ashamed, because you realize how many other people are kind of going through it. Yeah. And just tell yourself, the only thing I could say is what helped me is continuing to tell myself what's meant for me is meant for me. It's not my time. It's not like something else. If this is not it, then something else. And just hold on to that, because it can be really, really trying, and I know that you could just feel like shit. So yeah, that's my best advice.
And what about as far as communicating with your partner? Because in my mind, Steven is a perfect human being along with you. Like, you guys are two perfect beings that created a perfect baby. Sorry.
Can't let him know.
Right, true.
Come on, no.
He ain't shit, girl.
Yeah, right.
That's who you chose?
Right.
He picks flowers and gives you coffee every morning? Ew. Gross.
Yeah.
Like
he's gonna be like on the way home, like
I'm
I'm
perfect.
the best.
I'm perfect. How do you go about communicating with your partner when you're going through difficult times?
I mean, hopefully you have a really supportive partner who can just be there for you. And I think it's really hard to find the right words to say to somebody going through this.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, just do things. If you are the partner that's trying to support, your girlfriend, your wife, whatever, just do things that make her happy. You don't necessarily have to talk or try to put yourself in her feelings and try to think that you know what she's going through, because it's so frustrating. And I remember being so angry because I just felt like, you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know. And you do feel a lot of anger just inside. And so I think trying to pretend like you understand may not be wasn't for me. And so him finding something for me to do, taking me, to do the things that I love, just distracting me was the best possible outcome that could have happened.
Yeah.
Be open with them and don't hold it in.
Yeah.
I held it in and I just don't know why for a little bit. Like, don't be ashamed. Don't feel like you're letting them down. You guys are in it together.
Yeah.
It should be a team.
Agreed. Facts.
Yeah.
Bar. Well, where can everybody find you? Thank you so much for coming on here.
Of
I
course.
feel like everyone wants to follow your life. If you want to see really Ocean's life, if you want to watch Ocean's life unfold.
If you want to watch Ocean's life and my new baby's life in my belly right now.
I knew something was up. I knew something was happening.
Did you?
Just the way you guys are. Something was happening. Oh my God.
Yeah, nobody knows yet, but by the time this comes out, I'm sure people will know. Yeah. So.
Oh my God.
Another baby. It's so
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. She's shocked. I kind of snuck up on her with
Okay,
that
wait.
one.
I feel so honored that you shared this information. I knew something. I said something's. Oh my God.
Yeah,
wait, when are you due?
August. Yeah.
August what?
20th.
Try to see. Leo. Is he going to be Leo?
Leo or Virgo?
Oh. What's Ocean?
Ocean is a Libra.
What are you?
I'm a Pisces.
What's Steven?
Taurus.
Oh, wow. Oh my God.
So many questions. Wow, that was like a rapid fire. Yeah. Anyways, I know. Super exciting, right?
Does
We're
Ocean
super
know?
happy. He does. He kisses my belly.
Oh.
Yeah. He kisses my belly and he knows.
This is a lot.
I know it's a lot. I kind of snuck it on in the end here. But yeah, we're really excited. And after all of this, it's like a really happy ending. We're super happy. And yeah, you can find us and follow our next journey on Instagram at Desi Perkins. Everything Desi Perkins, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. It's easy that way.
Are you going to do another YouTube journey of this one?
Listen, so Steven and I keep talking about how this baby's going to be like, where's my YouTube journey?
Right.
And I'm just going to have to be like, listen, his journey is not your journey.
Right.
This is like a different, that kind of was your journey.
Yeah.
Because you also came from that journey.
Yeah.
So we have been like, we always film and document our life with, even if we don't have intentions of sharing. So who knows? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But it's probably not going to be a lead up like it was last time. Like I kind of just want to announce, sometime next week so I could stop hiding.
Next week?
Girl, there's so much baggy clothing. I just can't. I can't stay in that. I don't know
But
if
you
next
look
week.
fly.
Yeah, girl. But I'm running out of stuff to wear. Like my pants are unbuttoned right now.
Stop.
I couldn't even button them up.
I didn't even notice when you walked in here. You have like a whole bump.
Yeah. I know. Even my closest friends the other night we went to dinner and they know, but they were like, oh, let's see the bump. And I showed it to them and they're like, dang, you have all that under there. And I was like, yeah.
But this time you feel good.
I feel great and I'm living in the moment and I haven't had one feeling of like, oh, maybe it's not going to work. I've been enjoying it and I put myself through it the first pregnancy and I have regrets of doing that because, I was so worried and I was like, I don't want to feel that way this time because whatever I feel, the outcome will always be what it's going to be. And, the last time I was like anxious and teetering between unhappy and happy. And then, something happened anyways. So why not just be happy and be excited? And yeah.
Well, I'm so happy and I'm so excited. And I'm so honored that you shared this here.
I know.
Oh,
It's a first. It's an exclusive.
oh my God. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you,
Oh my God, now she's
Ocean.
crying.
Thank you. Thank you to the new baby who's going to be either Leo or Virgo. This is beautiful. Thank you. Hi, I'm Kamie Crawford, host of the Relationshit podcast. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more videos, click below to subscribe and like this video for more Dear Media content. So shut up and listen.